will be performed live to picture by the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra and the Crouch End Chorus Choir, creating a magical atmosphere for those in the audience. To tell us more about this special event, we're joined by the choir's conductor, David Temple, who is here with us in the studio. Hello, David. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks, Clara.
Lovely to have you here. And before we get into this chat about obviously Home Alone and the music from it and the choir and what we can expect at the Royal Albert Hall, Crouch End Festival Chorus, you are, that's right.
That's right,
That's
yeah.
right. You are 40 years old this year.
That's right,
Not
yeah.
you personally, the choir.
Well, no, but I did start it off.
Did
40
you?
years ago with my friend John Gregson. Yes, we started it together.
And what were your visions when you started the choir 40 years ago?
We both sang in the London Philharmonic Choir, which is a fantastic choir. And we basically wanted to base this new choir on the experiences we'd had with them. So we had ambitions for high quality right from the start.
And I can imagine that, you know, over the kind of 40 years, you've seen incredible, you know, people come and sing as part of the choir. You've had incredible opportunities, you know, as a conductor as well. Is there anything that springs to mind over the 40 years that's a particular highlight to you?
How long have you got? I mean, it's just been brilliant. I mean, I think we are one of the most busy and successful choirs in the world.
Wow.
We've appeared on Glastonbury Pyramid Stage with Ray Davies. We've appeared with Oasis and Take That and Muse, all sorts, as well as lots of classical things like the first night of the BBC Proms. It's never ending.
Never ending. And that, I mean, did you hope for that? Or did you know that would happen when you created the choir? Or that was the kind of ambition? And I suppose to have experienced that and to see it kind of come to fruition and to keep flowing with all these opportunities must be such a great feeling.
Do you know what? I started off as a school teacher and I practiced my conducting with the kids at school. And it was over those 40 years that I actually became a full-time conductor. And now, you know, I'm making a good living out of it. What's
the difference between somebody who's a conductor of an orchestra versus a choir? Because when I think of an orchestra, you have all the different sections, don't you, of the different instruments. But also when you have a choir, you have the different sections of people with different tones of voice.
That's a really good question. I conduct both. Right. I conduct choirs on their own, orchestras on their own. But what I love most is conducting them both together. And you've just got to relax and get on with it. And even though the players need different things from you to what the singers need, basically all they want is somebody up there, hopefully, to inspire them.
Right. Yeah. And that's you.
I hope so.
There you go.
I'm
Fantastic.
Still doing it.
And this is an incredible concert that we're talking about here at the Royal Albert Hall, which is such an iconic venue. And then to have this kind of, I guess, show brought together where we've got the orchestra, we've got the choir, we've got the pictures up on the screen. What's it like to be part of something like this?
Oh, it's really thrilling. The conductor, who is not me in this particular case, will have some headphones on and also have the film showing in front of him. And he has to cue the choir at the exact moment so it lines up perfectly with the film. And it's really exciting because one of the most magical moments, I don't know if you remember this from the film, but when Kevin goes into the church.
Yes.
Yeah, and he meets the old man.
Yeah.
And they sit next to each other and they start chatting. Before he goes into the church, there's a choir in the church singing very quietly. And then when they open the doors, the choir suddenly sounds very loud. And we have to manufacture that live in concert. It's amazing.
And you also said, obviously, before we went live on air and we played out the track somewhere in my memory, you were saying that obviously on that track in the film, it's children singing. And you have to, you know, get your choir singers within your choir to be able to create that sound as well.
Well, do you know what? That is the magic of Crouch End Festival Chorus. We produce the sounds that we need to produce. We don't have a sound of our own, but whatever sound we need to produce, we do it. So I have a certain technique of getting the singers to sing like children, where they just sing from the top of their head rather than from down here. So that's the way we do it.
It's incredible. What's the kind of rehearsal period like for something like this, David, when you've got this big show and like you say, all of these kind of intricacies around timings and etc., because you're doing it along with the film?
We've done this show 5 times now, and I think most of my singers have done it at least once or twice. So each year we do a little top-up rehearsal and then we're in there. Also, it's so much easier these days because you can send around bits of YouTube clip from the performance from the year before. So the singers who haven't done it before can watch that and see how it all fits.
So technology is changing, I guess, a little bit how you do things as well.
It is changing, and also it's not, because when we do a classical recording, it's the choir, it's me, an orchestra, a soloist, and we just go over it over and over again, which is exactly how it was 50, 60 years ago. So in that respect, it hasn't changed at all.
But there are little bits of it that help, I suppose, along the way. Like you just said, if for example, you want to send people something so they know what to prepare for, or so they can, kind of get a real gist of how things are done, it can be helpful, I suppose,
That's
in that
right.
way.
It's all the learning materials which you can now lay your hands on. And when the choir started, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have anything like that, didn't have mobile phones. Well, so times changed.
You nearly didn't have me. I'm 41. So, 40 years ago, I would have been a baby when you were starting out this incredible choir.
Yeah, well, I was a baby then as well,
Of course,
Only
yeah.
joking.
No, you're not much older than 40, I can imagine. You're about the same age as me, aren't you? You started it as a baby.
That's right.
Just throwing your hands around and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
And we all know babies have incredible singing voices. I have a niece and nephew, and all they do is sing, scream, cry, etc. Without the kind of fear of anyone else's opinion or judgment. So probably exploring their voices in the best possible way at that age.
Well, I believe that everybody can sing. You told me earlier you couldn't, but
no,
I think if I'd been your teacher, I would have got you to sing.
I can sing just badly. The thing is, I feel like when I was at primary school, I could actually sing, and I did a solo of Silent Night in the church, and that was fine. And then it was like my voice broke, and I do think there is something in that, even as a woman, I believe, like where your voice, something changes, but something happened and now I sound like a cat being strangled. I still sing because I enjoy it, but I don't think it's so nice for everybody else. But there you go. As you said, you've been doing this show for the last 5 years. What's the atmosphere like? What can people expect?
Well, it's unbelievable. As well as the sound of the music, which we're producing, there's also the film, which is on a screen about 60 feet wide. Wow. It's amazing. But the best music of all is the sound of the children all laughing.
Oh.
Because there's so much amusement and the way Kevin deals with those two burglars and all the tricks he plays on them. And the kids are just shrieking with laughter all the way through. And there's no better music than that.
No, I think you're absolutely right, because they're watching the film, aren't they, and getting that joy and laughter. So even though you're up there kind of performing, you're also getting that feedback from the audience. And that's such a beautiful thing, I think, about any kind of live performance, whether you're whatever kind of performer you are, things really come alive when there's an audience there, don't they? And you get that kind of exchange, I guess, in a way.
You're absolutely right, Clara, because in the Royal Albert Hall, when you're rehearsing and there's nobody in there, it's quite sinister, it's a huge building, but nobody in there. As soon as the place fills up, the atmosphere changes radically. It's wonderful.
It sounds absolutely incredible. And as I said just before you came in here, Home Alone 1 is my second favourite Christmas film, but Home Alone 2 is my first Christmas film. And you haven't seen Home Alone 2?
No. That's a treat for over Christmas.
That's what you need to do. You need to have a little watch of that one, and you'll have to let me know. You have to let me know what you think. So I mentioned at the start of the interview that obviously your choir, Crouch End Festival Chorus, I don't know why I can't say Crouch End today, is 40 years old. How will you be celebrating, or have you already done that?
Oh, we've been celebrating all this year.
Oh, yeah.
And we're celebrating with 2 fantastic Christmas concerts in Highgate on the 21st of December, 4 o'clock and 7:30. So if you're anywhere near Highgate, come and hear us. We've also got another concert on the 1st of February in Holy Trinity Church, Sloane Square. And this features a piece by Jacob Collier. I don't know if you've come across Jacob Collier, but he's one of the most outstanding musicians in the world today.
Incredible stuff. So you'll still be celebrating next year, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, and then we'll celebrate the 41st birthday.
David, it's been so lovely to chat to you and to hear a little bit more about, of course, this incredible concert. It's happening on Saturday, the 7th of December at the Royal Albert Hall, and there's a couple of different shows. I think there's 2:30 p.m. and a 7:30 p.m. as
That's
well.
right.
So people can get tickets from the royalalberthall.com. Thank you for being with us.
It's a
We
pleasure.
appreciate you, and we wish you all the very best of luck.
Thank you.
That was an absolute pleasure to chat to David Temple there, who is, of course, the conductor of the Crouch End Festival Chorus. You're listening to Clara Hermit on BBC Radio London.